but look, the board is. And on my board, what I've done is restricted it. I've reduced it so it's not as big or complex as a game. So in the rules of Go 1, the board, we're equal. Now our skill is not. I may have a higher skill than you, and there are others that have a higher skill than me. So there may be a handicap. And then always who starts first is black. And how a way you can do that is one person picks up a black and a white one and puts it behind their back and they select. And that would be, they could choose to keep that color or pass it on. So always black goes first. So black starts and then white goes and then black and alternates and anyone can pass. And when there's 2 consecutive pass, the game is over. And so to move is to take one stone and place it on an empty intersection. As you can see, there's many, many intersections. And so where does the beginning game start? Well, if we come up and look at my shorter version inside this frame, you'll notice dots, solid dots. These represent corners. So there's 4 corners. And on a bigger square, you can see it as well on the 19 by 19. And then zoomed in, I don't know the numbers anymore. It's been so long since I played. But that's the beginning move. And so as you look, it's like, as I look at the board, this would be my side of the board. And then looking over here, that would be your side of the board, your perspective. Yeah. And so it matters. It doesn't really matter where you start, but let's just look at some places that we would go. We're looking for strengths. So something like that as a beginning move is solid for black. That's very good beginning because look how much territory means you can control, hold, maintain with 1. So these are the corners. So white's going to do something like this, let's say, brings it in. Now it's black's move, and it's like, okay, now we're even. We're, right now, black's stronger, white's more aggressive. That's kind of the feel of the board, the charge of the board. Now let's say black takes a run. Black goes like that. Now what does it feel like for white? This is black coming into your territory. White is kind of like, all right, well, you're pushing my flank. Yeah, you're coming into my corner. I'm going to stop you. So how do I stop you? You come somewhere in here to stop them, or do you come attack? Maybe come put some pressure down here. Now what do we do? Oh, okay, so now we're going on the board. Well, we're still earlier, but look, we started to play the sides. And then we'll come, more than likely, and it's like, all right, well, you're going to go there. I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to poke right underneath you. Okay. Now I'm giving away how I play, how I set it up. And what happens is we go back and forth, say whites comes in here and says, all right, I'm going to cut you off now. Wonderful. Black may come in. I don't know how black's going to do it. Black could come in and say, all right, well, I'm going to cut you off here too. And then it's like, uh-oh. So what happens if white ignores this move? Black has this in gote, I believe I don't remember the actual words, but when you're in a position like this, you only have 1 liberty. And it's this opening here. See how this one is surrounded? This white stone is surrounded by 3 black stones. It has 1 liberty, so 1 space that it can move is there. And now white can go with 1 move, and it opens up 1, 2, 3 liberties. And now black is free to move again. Black would want to respond in one way or the other in all reality to try and keep the corner as its power by stopping white from coming back around to its power, to its base. And this is black's power in base. And you run it all the way to the side for the most part, right? And it's pretty decent. And then it's like, all right, well, now I've got enough pressure here. I'm going to put you black. I'm going to make you respond black, make you run. Where are you going to go? And black's either going to come over here and continue to put pressure here, force a move here, or it's going to be like, all right, well, I'm either going to give up I'm going to give up this stone, which gives up those stones, or I'm going to fight for this stone to get it back to my base because this stone, right, is weak on it. It's separated. So black could come in here like this. As black does that, white knows that its strength is in the corner again. So it's going to start running it this way. And see how black then now has white cut off. And white will never gain enough territory to make it into that black and win. So now white is, okay, well, I don't know where white would go, but let's say white's I'm gonna make you execute on it. And black doesn't have to, but it can execute like that. Removes and holds the white stone. And we just made a liberty, created it. Now white can't come back in and put their next move because it is white's move now. White cannot put the stone back in there because that recreated the board as before. So that's rule number 4. No stone can be played to recreate a former board position. That was what we did with that move. So white has to go play somewhere else to put pressure on them. And so, white could come down here around the corner, start squeezing it in, put pressure over here, start to turn it here. There's all sorts of places white kind of has freedom now. So you might move something like that. And now black also has freedom. So for a moment we were in a fight and then we're not. Fight, not what we're after, our intention, right? And so every color at the end. And so we're still in the beginning game, middle game, because we're really fighting over, not fighting, we're wrestling over one corner, and we really ignored what was happening on the rest of the board. And so that's what happens is you forget what strategies you were in as we begin to play more and more of the game. So this is really the beginning game. So as we move into it, we'll get into the end games. Hope that was fun.